One banker's described it as the most complex problem to hit the city. Dozens of councils signing million-pound deals with some of Britain's biggest banks, and all of it may have to be unravelled. Now the Lords have ruled that Hammersmith and Fulham overstepped its powers when it speculated on the money markets. In the 1980s, local authorities seized on swap deals to save money. A deal works like this. A bank has a loan with a variable interest rate and a council has a loan with a fixed rate. If variable rates are lower than the fixed ones, a council could swap its loan to reduce its interest bill. For example, on a £10 million loan, a fixed interest rate of 10% has an interest bill of £1 million a year. If the rate goes down to 5%, the payment is halved and the council save money. If the rate soars to 15%, the bill shoots up to £1.5 million, and that's where the London Council hit trouble, owing £200 million in interest alone. Hammersmith and Fulham council leaders welcomed today's judgment, but an internal inquiry has been launched. It should be completed next month.
Well, I think that we hope that there will be a very clear picture about how the council got involved to the extent that it did, what took place, and precisely what were the reasons why various people did seem inclined to get involved to the extent that we did do, when quite clearly we shouldn't have got involved to that amount.
The 5 banks that held swaps with the London Council now want their money back.
Hammersmith and Fulham are probably totally unwelcome in the city just at the moment. In respect of other local authorities, their reputation has gone down and it's sometimes viewed as a credit issue rather than a legal issue.
Today's ruling has implications for at least 100 councils nationwide and 80 banks that had similar deals. All the transactions may have to be undone and the gains returned. The banks could try and force the councils to return the money by issuing writs. There are 9 pending on Hammersmith and Fulham. Or the two sides could try and reach agreement on the sum to be paid back. Whatever happens, community charge payers could lose out.
We are indeed trying to clarify exactly what the law is with regard to powers of local authorities and treasurers to make payments under compromise. As I said, restitution would rely upon action through the courts. And we do know that there are quite a number of counterparties who've got writs already outstanding to start that action.
Today's judgment closes the book on one legal argument, but with relations between councils and banks soured, the government could be forced to take a long, hard look at the whole legal basis of local authority finance. This is Sally Arthey at Westminster for Thames News.
Tony, complicated and confusing. How are they going to sort it out?
Well, I think that everybody's still wondering precisely how they're going to sort it out. They, possibly being the government. It's clear from what's being said this afternoon that the banks, the Audit Commission and the local authorities would in many ways like the government to go ahead now and perhaps pass new legislation to sort things out. If that doesn't happen, there may be more legal cases and this may drag on still further.
But the government might not be very sympathetic towards the banks.
No, I think the government isn't, or certainly hasn't been sympathetic to the banks so far, because the government has taken the view in private that the banks, as it were, went into these deals with their eyes open, that at the time the government was not keen on the banks helping local authorities out to evade government spending controls. And I think there is a feeling in Whitehall that to some extent the banks got their just desserts. Now, whether the government can sustain that position on and on, of course, is another matter.
And what does it mean to us, the poll taxpayers? Are we going to pick up the tab?
I think one way or another there will be tabs to be picked up. First, because some local authorities may actually end up having to pay out money if all the past deals have to be unravelled. Some authorities actually made money out of those, so they may have to pay it back. And the other crucial thing is that all local government may find it more expensive to borrow money in future. Yes, that could cost all community charges in future.
Tony Travers, thank you.